The frozen city of Hallas is the home of the barbarian Northmen. The Northmen maintain tight family groups. The city is ruled by a council of village elders. Nearly all barbarians worship and pay homage to the tribunal, though it is not uncommon for warriors to also pay homage to the Ralozek. The profession of the thief is frowned upon, but tolerated, provided other Northmen do not become the victim of thieving activity. Hallas' close proximity to the Everfrost has encouraged the development of hardened warriors and resourceful shamans. All of Hallas' young pupils must endure the harsh, bitter climate and other dangers of Everest frost, almost as a rite of passage.
In order to travel back and forth to Everfrost across the frigid waterway that separates it from their home, Halasians travel on a raft known as the Guinevere. Owing to the harshness of the region, warriors, rogues, shaman, beastlords, and berserkers are the only types of professions that the Northmen have been able to master. However, the focus of these arts has engendered a brilliant local weapons and armor industry, producing some of the finest equipment in all of Norath.
Taverns abound here, for the lacerating cold of the frigid north is best quelled at hearthside with a soothing glass of the finest barbarian ale. Many establishments have opened up in Hallas, including taverns, guild halls, and various shops that provide basic necessities needed to survive in the frigid northern wilderness.
This history is provided by Everquest.com under lore. And obviously we're talking about Canada. Hallas, sorry. That's right. This is the Hallas episode. And we have one new co-host and another co-host returning. So our first new co-host is Raam. So if you'd like to just introduce yourself to the community, your character name, server you played on, yada yada.
So, hi everyone, I'm Raam, or Raz El Ghul. Some of you might even know me as Ladislaus. I come from Castle Lightwolf server. As a day one guy there. I ran the guild, the Council of Eternal Shadows, which I see a few people are actually watching the stream from the council, so big shout out to you guys. How's everyone doing today?
Anything else?
No, that's it.
That's all you got? You don't want to tell about the tunes you played, like a couple of them?
Alright. I figured, I don't want to hit the boring stuff. They see all this nostalgia overload, so I kind of wanted to, skip me, but I played a warrior. I played Necros, Warrior, Monk, Shadow Knight. I had 1,500 CMs on a couple of those characters. You guys probably most notably have seen me sitting on my rock. I know there was a big thing on the save state about me being on the rock.
Yeah.
Just kind of chilling there, and he was like, oh, you can play Raam too. So I did that for a good long while, but yeah, most definitely.
And returning again, since all the ladies requested him between the ages of 19 and 25, is John.
As long as they're legal, all right.
What up? But yeah, John, so just let people know what you've been up to.
Not a whole lot. Some people may have seen, though, I guess I'll mention this. I am trying to build a custom EQOA arcade cabinet, which maybe will work and maybe won't. We'll see, I guess.
I heard you got an inside man that if you need any help with hardware, he's willing to almost hook you up for free.
Yeah, it's too bad he's in Canada.
Yeah, shipping is that's quite the hurdle. It's because your dollar is worth like 7 times ours. Because what we
wasn't always.
See, the problem is that on our side we have horse and carriage that brings the parcels to the border, and then we drop it off there. And sometime, if the carriage breaks down, we have a moose. So
I was gonna say, is it moose and carriage?
Yeah. Well, they're big, man. I don't know if you've ever seen a moose up close. I'm sure Raam has, because he was from Alaska. But like, the top of their legs stand above your vehicle, and for whatever reason,
that's crazy.
They slobber too. Oh, they slobber a lot. But,
true statements.
Yeah,
Very true statements.
If you run into a moose in a vehicle, your vehicle's toast and you're toast. But if you got like a full-size 18-wheeler, like, you'll survive. But it's gonna be tight. Like, they're solid, man.
When I was in kindergarten, there was a moose that kept ringing our doorbell for about an hour.
With his tongue?
Nah, I don't know how he was doing it. I didn't bother to look, but he pushed it and it was a loud one. And so he just decided I'm going to keep doing it. And never let this alone but an hour and a half.
You got trolled by a moose.
Yeah. Just sit there, keep tongue lashing your bell. It's like, I can't look away. I'm trying, but I can't. So, a couple of things to start out with. I've been very busy with Jeremiah, like just life busy, and then him and I trying to get back and forth to get another episode going. So that's why there's been such a long break. He's had a lot of things going on where the business he owns, and then I've had to transition into a new job where I was teaching before, but now I'm a network analyst for an organization, a government organization. I never thought I would stoop so low and work for a government organization where working hard is frowned upon and pooping while you work is something they smile about. It's like
hashtag life goals.
Yeah, I just made $25 for taking a poo. Oh yeah. But yeah, and we wanted to apologize. It's because we really love doing these episodes, and over the last couple of months, I've been replying to a lot more comments on all the YouTube videos. And keep the comments coming in. We love it. I love the engagement. I've been getting some emails. We're going to go over later some of the email, like the stories that we've seen. And no, I don't work for Shield. And yeah, so just we're going to make it up to you guys. We got the poster giveaway, and I want to thank the person who didn't claim it. So it's gone towards this episode. So thank you to that person. And yeah, we're just gonna go into Hallas now. So obviously Hallas is the home of barbarians, and John, you especially love barbarians, correct?
I especially do.
Yeah, we had that discussion about the first episode when we said, if you had to adopt any race child from the game, you chose barbarian. Right. I think I agreed with you too, just because the fact that there's so many different things that child could do at such a young age.
Because they'd be huge. They could get stuff off the top shelf for you, or
lift the back of the car, change the tire,
shovel the driveway.
And we mentioned this on the round table that if you had a daughter, and she's going to prom or something, you wouldn't have to worry about her not being able to take care of herself because, well, she's jacked, right?
Right.
She would take her hand and she would probably like nail a guy into the ground just like a Hulk, like planting a carrot. You know what I mean? I don't know if that's a bad. We were talking earlier about innuendos and stuff, and I hope I'm not going to be doing it this episode. I really hope not. Anyways. So,
you already mentioned poo and then triggered penguin again.
Yeah, and moose, but missing the second word. So I'm going to continue going on before I go on too much of a tangent. So yeah, barbarians can be warriors. Warriors must face the most powerful enemies without fear. So obviously we all know they're the frontline defense, the protectors, and also known as the meat shields in any MMO we play. So the primary stats for warriors are strength and stamina. The warriors start in the village of Hallas. So when you guys take out your EverQuest Bibles, you'll see all the starting races start in the village. So when you are looking, as soon as you start, you pretty much have your guildmaster there immediately. So the guildmaster for the warriors is Merrick McPherson, and he is northeast of the village. The beginning NPCs are all found adjacent to Merrick. The NPCs you'll first talk to after speaking with the guildmaster is Taylor Freya, Derry McQuaid, and Merchant Malley. Merchant Malley can also be found on adult websites. No, I'm just kidding. So these quests involve hunting, killing, looting, purchasing supplies, and returning the items to their respective quest giver. This is a lot of rinse and repeat. We've seen this too with other starting zones we talked about. Tethlan, they all do it. So you also need to venture and find the coachman, so Mr. Dudley, who's found south of the village before the corridor. So when you leave the village, you'll see Mr. Dudley there. And he's just, I guess depending you look at it, just east of the entrance. And you'll also need to seek Spirit Master Kerr and Benin O'Leary, who are both found at the end of the corridor leaving the village. So it's good to know where both the Spirit Master and the Coachman is, since, that's where you're starting. You're going to use the Coachman to travel around. Obviously, in the beginning, you're going to do a lot of quests that are in close, but Eventually, you're going to coach around. You got to get to Freeport, got to head to the Crocs. Eventually, everyone eventually goes to the Crocs. That is the nucleus of the game for me. Everyone hits up the Crocs. It's one of my favorite starting places from level. I think I went there when I was 16. How about you, Raam?
I went to Crocs, I would say, I think I was like 14 or like 13, and I had a friend trying to help us out, and that wasn't working out so great. And then I ended up staying at Crocs until I was like, God, I don't even know, almost 20, because I would just solo it whenever I couldn't get anywhere. I'm like looking for a group,
Yeah.
So I lived there. Like I stayed there for so long. I loved it.
Oh yeah, if you get a decent healer tank, like you could just roll through there.
Yeah, just mask that whole thing up. I remember when people would be like, "Hey," you like, or not even people would be like anything, but when you would go approaching the Crocs, you could tell when something went wrong, because there's always like a big Croc from the house chasing some poor soul.
Yeah.
Because like a power level went wrong or something, or like somebody disconnected, So you see like 3 like 16s, like some gnome and some other guy, they're just bolting for their life, and this Croc's just coming to eat them. And I'm like, oh, that sucks for them.
What about you, John? What level were you?
Well, since I started out in Halas, my very first character, I didn't even leave Halas until I was probably like level 15 or something. Whoa. So I think like I will say Halas general area.
Okay,
right?
Okay, yeah.
So like that include like Freezeblood Village and Snowfist and stuff like that. But I didn't even get down to Freeport until I was probably level 16 or 17. So I probably didn't actually hit Crocs until I was probably almost 20.
So you were starting your armor quest, level 17 quest at that point.
Yeah. Running coaches actually, like because I did almost nothing. I had run from like Hallas to like Dartmoor Manor one time without like, and I didn't pick up the coach while I was there because I was clueless. And then I like kept running and I just died. I think I was like running to Blakedown and ended up dying. And then I was back in Hallas again. So
yeah, always suicide runs pretty much from any starting zone.
Yeah, because I had no idea. I had no idea what was going on. It was my first MMO, first character running around and just like getting lost.
Yep. Raam, you want to talk about the next playable class?
So barbarians can be shamans. For those of you guys who don't know, shamans are pretty much like witch doctors. They specialize in healing and stat buffs to bolster party members. They have pretty decent damage over time spells. They can be quite powerful, actually. They specialize in poison and disease. Because of this, shamans are also backup healers, and their primary stats are wisdom and stamina. Shamans start in the northwest part of the village, and the guildmaster for the shamans is Beryl O'Leary, who can be found in the west side of the village. He has other NPCs you have to speak with adjacent to his building to complete low-level quests, and their names are Trista, Spiritmaster Lyra, Merchant Mally, and Taylor Akesson. These NPCs will be a part of your low-level quest, similar to the warrior. Freezebloods are a shaman's best friend for goblin target practice, and that is very true.
Yes, there was. They just get ground and pounded. Those poor guys, eh?
Like every barbarian starting quest is like, hey, go kill that Freezeblood guy over there. Like those poor things, they should be extinct by the time the game died.
You wonder how they keep popping out of the ground.
They breed like rabbits, apparently.
They'd be faster than rabbits at that point. And John, you want to bring it home with the next class?
Sure. Barbarians can be rogues. Rogues are thieves and backstabbers in pretty much every game. Rogues practice stealth and thievery and deal in poisons and the art of assassination. A skilled rogue can deal lethal amounts of damage. They tend to be squishy, though they can wear chain. Rogues' primary stats are agility and dexterity. They can be extremely handy when aggro needs to be pulled away from a tank. Rogues start in the same area as warriors. The Rogues Guildmaster is Juno Felligan. Near Juno, you will also speak with NPCs Taylor McQuaid, Spiritmaster Dean, Merchant Mally, Ganon McGibson, who is not Link's nemesis from Zelda. You also talk to Coachman Dudley and Benin O'Leary.
Yeah, I had to make that connection. Ganon McGibson.
I skipped your Dean the Machine.
That's what they called him back in college. That guy could drink. Oh, damn. But yeah, so some of the common beasts found in the Hallas area are bats, magpies, rabid bats, rats, and spiderlings. And these are required to kill and loot during a low level. So there'll be some quests that some of you probably remember where it's, bring this rat's
rat whiskers.
Yeah, rat whiskers or pelt and, a piece of leather and a crude stone. Bring it back to me and maybe I'll slap a weapon together if I like you. And then we got to remember though. So when attacking mobs or NPCs with a red circle, so on the controller it was R1, correct? For cycling through or L1. Which one was it? L1, R1.
For what?
I'm brain farting. When you want to look at a different color.
R1.
R1
through mobs and
R1.
Yeah,
I think
players in your group.
So you got to remember that. So for people who are new, anything that's white is your level. Dark blue is a bit lower than you. Light blue is very lower than your level, and green was it's like extremely lower, and you have no issues at all killing it, but you will not yield any XP. But if something was yellow, it was a few levels higher than you, and red, it was many levels higher than you. So if you attack something that's red, chances are, even with all your CMs, unless
you're gonna die.
Yeah, you're gonna die. You're gonna get two-shotted, and you need to be very careful. I don't know if you guys mentioned at any point, like your first, Raam, sorry, I keep saying your name wrong. Ugh. Do you remember that first time you attacked something red and you're like, oh crap?
Oh yes, it was good old Ria Nekchev.
Oh gosh.
I picked a pretty good fight. I don't know what I was doing or why, but I hit her and I got the little message like, "Hey, you're outmatched." And I was like, "The hell I am!" and then I blew up.
But you, John?
That was the first one.
I would have no idea, but I'm sure that I died a horrible death.
Yeah, I think it was for me at Teslin, because I'm the elf guy. I think I attacked a female guard. And it's like, this is not advised. You should not attack. I'm like, yeah, but I want that weapon. And I attacked it and I got one-shotted. I think I was like level 7 or something. Yeah, just stupid.
Mine was probably like a Freeze Blood Ice Master or Ice Crusher that's outside of Hallas in the little igloos. Mm-hmm. You had to kill them for, I think it was like level 7 quest or something. But it was probably one of those at like level 5. I decided I was going to, take it on. But likely that's what it was.
When I did Crocs, my buddies were like, "Oh, go grab the main Croc in the house." I'm like, "Well, it's red." They're like, "No, we can take it. Go get it." And then I went in to grab it just to pull it in, and then the tank was going to peel it, but they already all started running towards free parts, so they set me up. Yeah, I was like, "Damn it, guys!" Not funny. So. What we just gave you guys was a description of Hallas. Hallas is a beautiful zone. There's lots to see there. Love the bridge to it, the main bridge that connects the one island to the other. It's just, you got to check it out. You need to run the emulator, which you can get through different facets. You can go to the LFG revival page. I think we've posted it in the EQOA LFG Facebook page, or you can check out in the description when this video gets uploaded to YouTube. Another thing I wanted to go over is that, remember at the very end of the show, we will be letting you guys know of an announcement. Just throwing that out there, so just stay with us, guys. You're going to want to check it out. It's pretty cool. The second segment, we need to do a collect call to our good friend Randall. So give me a second here. I'm going to get my rotary phone ready. That should do it. Hello, Randall, are you with us? Hello, Randall, are you there?
Oh, hello, yeah, this is Randall.
Hey, Randy. It's been a while.
Yeah. What's up, man? How you been?
How are the kids?
Not too bad, I haven't met them yet. Probably still a couple years in the future.
Yeah, but saving up some money to buy, the twins some new shoes?
Oh, heck yeah, man, heck yeah. I was going to buy one pair, though, They can share.
Yeah, left and right. They can argue within each other, and they'd be like, $5. Can I have the left shoe this week? And they'd be like,
yeah, that's right. You're okay.
So Randall, any news for the community?
Yeah, I've been programming away. Obviously, I just started looking into trying to format CM files, kind of like how I was making NPC files. And then maybe armor files, stuff like that.
So for people who are listening to the show and have no idea what CM is, do you want to describe that in a nutshell?
What class masteries are?
Yes.
Most people probably had frontiers. It was the I think it would be dubbed the advancement. It's the other way you can customize your character without armor or the stats. I was looking at how to represent that. I'm not sure how to represent it like in the save state quite yet, but with the CMs, there were the things that you could buy to with the vital body and like where you get your wear form and stuff like that. I'm honestly not quite sure what to say about them. I feel like most people would know already what CMs are.
Well, you know, at least we can give them a rough idea what it does, because like I mentioned before, that once our game gets, you know, up and running, we're going to have a lot of people, I think, playing this game too that never played before. We're going to have people who did play inviting friends that never played.
Very true. Okay, well then. Class masteries are basically, like I said, you can, to customize your character, you can get different armor to give different stat bonuses to change your character from other people. You can also put points into your stats like strength, stamina, etc. to make your character different than other ones that are the same race and class and level as you. But then class masteries are another form of making your character unique, and what you can do to get points toward that is you can take a percentage of the experience you get for killing stuff and quests and have it go toward that. So if I set it to 100%, I wouldn't level up, I would just get class mastery. If I had it at 50, it would get split between them, and that's obviously ignoring the debt mechanic. And then with that, you get points in class masteries. Class mastery points is what they would be called. You stack those up. Basically, the more you get, the more XP it costs to get them, and then the cap was like your level times 25. So, you know, that's where the 1500 came in. For those of you who are familiar with the cap being 1500 at level 60, so you could only get up to 1500 CMs. And basically, you would spend these to unlock something. For instance, there was one called Vital Body, and I believe that just gave you like 50 HP. And then if you had the first one unlocked, you could unlock the second one, which I probably gave you like 75 or something like that. All the way up to like Vital Body 5, which probably gave you 150 or 200 or something. I'm just guessing, I don't remember. And then you had different categories of class masteries that you could buy. Some of them were under like a general that anybody could buy, such as Vital Body. And then some of them were like archetype specific. So if I was like a tank, I could buy some that only tanks could get. If I was a mage, I could get some that only, you know, like casters, spell users could get. There was also a branch of it, a category for your specific class. So me being a mage, I could only get these if I was a mage or a warrior. And then that's where something, where most of what you would see be called your master classes came from. Not all of them though. Your class masteries would allow you to purchase a master class, which was kind of like a way to say, hey, look, I've put a lot of time into this character and I've kind of specialized him a little bit more. It would have been cool to see class masteries take that a little further, but basically where, say you're an enchanter, one thing enchanters do is like charm things. And another thing they do is like summon their own animations, their own pets. The two different master classes that an enchanter could get would be a spellbinder and an animator. The animator was the one that had basically a specialized pet. I don't remember, or maybe I didn't know what the other ability was. I don't remember anyway. And then for the spellbinder, they had a special charm that would allow them to get to go charm monsters that non-spellbinder wouldn't be able to get. And with that, you know, when you target the player, it would replace for a set enchanter. I mean, they were still technically an enchanter according to the game. Now, you also had your racial class masteries, and there was only a few there for each of the races, but some of them were pretty cool. And with that, you know, like a dark elf, I could get an Uruk Spite or something like that. I don't remember what it's called. Maybe it was just Spite, but that was like a damage shield that got stronger with your intelligence. And, you know, that was just something that was cool. You could also become a Chosen, which was the master class for dark elves. So if I was a warrior or a mage or anything, if I was a dark elf, I could purchase that once I had enough points of class mastery points. And then, you know, it would say I was Chosen, and I could unlock an ability or two with that. Yeah, like
every race had its own special class mastery. Yeah. And then, depending on your class, they would all be pretty static across the board, too.
Yeah, and then there was also an archetype-specific master class that each archetype could get. I believe that the tank one was Soldier, I think. there are also other ones that you could unlock, such as the Divine Werehunter, which was the Werehunter Master class, but for healers. So there was some variety there.
Now I'm gonna pause you right there. Raam, when you because you played a warrior primarily, correct?
Yeah.
Now, do you remember what CMs you grinded the most to max out on?
For me, yeah, actually. Later in the game, they had the quest for the 50 CMs for 100 stat points. If you guys remember those, the intestinal fortitude, I can't remember the other ones or names of them, but for me, I did a ton of them, not only on Godborn and Godtouch. Godtouch 25 to all of your resist, Godborn's 25 to all of your stat maxes, and 5 to the baseline of your stats. But I also did a lot of those CM quest lines, because as a main tank for raiding and things, you really needed to overmax like your stamina and especially your wisdom, since wisdom buffs your resistance at about 7 wisdom points for 1 resist. It became huge because as your gear broke, at least your buffs were maxed out. So when you're taking hits from Bert or Ralazek, when those things start to deteriorate, the last thing you have standing is like the baseline of your character. So that's what I spent a lot of my time on. We're doing those.
What about you, John?
It actually depends on which character we're talking. But yeah, if we're talking like the warrior, it was big for me. I didn't ever main tank or anything, but it was always strength, stamina, agility, basically. And then if you were like a defender, you'd want to up your wisdom. So that'd be a lot of the CMs that I think that I spent.
Maxing out that whiz?
Yeah, because it could be, and the reason was it was the what was the defender guard?
Yep.
Is that the ability guard? Yeah. But then like towards the end when I was just playing my bard all the time, that one, like bards, like you had to like max out a billion different stats because they were, I believe it was stamina and agility were their main stats, but you also wanted really high charisma for your heals, and then if you wanted any damage at all, dexterity you'd want to up also. But I was a minstrel, mostly support class, so I didn't really care about damage too much as long as I was outputting power and health.
Now, for this segment, the update, Dustin was supposed to be here. He ended up having to work, so he does apologize. He couldn't show up. So hopefully Dustin will be on the next episode, because at our last roundtable, which will also be uploaded later this holidays, Jeremiah and I should have a little more time to edit things and get things uploaded. But we were talking, and Dustin would love to be on an episode, and then him and Randall back and forth being a little more technical with different things they're doing. So I know some people are going to either yawn or think it's not interesting, but other people really dig it, and I dig it. And it's nice to know, the different stuff that they're adding and helping bring this game back to life. So Randall, did you have anything else that you wanted to chime in with?
No, not right now. I don't think so.
All good in the hood?
Yeah.
All good in the hood. So yeah, the last roundtable, which was a few weeks ago, I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was like a success. We had about 10 people. Would that be, am I shooting off a bit, or is that about what we had?
About 8 or 10, something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe a little. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, we had about that many people, and we had other people that just wanted to listen, which is fine. Some people don't like to talk, and you gotta respect that. I can dig it. Oh yeah, we wanted to thank everyone because we have over 7K views on our YouTube channel. So some of you guys are fiends. You must be listening to like an episode a day or something, because that's a lot of views.
And especially for only 3 episodes.
Yeah. So like everyone, clap for yourselves and say in the chat, we rock. Our community rocks. We have over 270 subscribers too, which is very impressive. I think so. I don't know. For the size of our community and for the people, it's just, I don't know. I love it. I love all you guys. Thanks for helping out. We also have some future interviews down the pipeline. I can't say too much because I don't want to disappoint anyone, but we are trying to set interviews up with different people that are involved with the game, or that were involved with the game, or possibly worked for SOE at one point with the game. So that's something cool to possibly look forward to in the future. We are going to have interviews no matter what. We have a few people that are working on the game we're going to have on the show. They're going to talk about how things were from the beginning, how they are now, their biggest breakthroughs, maybe what helps them when they're working, whether it be alcohol or certain music. Oh yeah, so again, I want to encourage people, please send us an email, EQOA@gmail.com, with any of your stories, and the next time we do another contest, use the subject that I will provide. There's also a bunch of people who are playing on the P99. I don't know, John, are you playing that at all?
I am not.
No? Raam?
No.
Randall?
Nay.
Okay, so none of us are playing, but there is someone who is spearheading that. If you go either to the LFG group or to the EQA Revival, they're just trying to get a bunch of us together and play the Project 99 game. So some people, if they don't know, more or less they got together, they it's essentially the original EverQuest in the same way that we're trying to get EQOA back. They took the game and they recreated the world, and they have all the same NPCs, everything's the same. They made an agreement with SOE at the time saying, please don't shut us down, we're just trying to run this because we love the vanilla EQ. They said, alright, no problem, they signed it. I'm pretty sure it's still okay with Daybreak because they haven't said anything, even though SOE was sold to Daybreak. So we're hoping for the same treatment once we get things rolling. Am I missing anything, guys? Any of you guys want to throw anything else in there?
No, I think I'm ready. Ready to move on.
Right. Ready to evolve.
The relabel.
Oh.
Was that later?
That was Jeremiah. Thank you for reminding me. We're looking at... Jeremiah, did you want to just talk about that now?
I'm happy to.
Yeah, go ahead. You take the mantle,
okay.
And then I'm just going to sip on my drink.
All right. So basically, something that myself and other members of the EQOA Revival development team have talked about is that we may need to face the fact that we need to change our brand because it has EQOA in it. And part of that is obviously it has EQO in it, and we, if you want to follow in the footsteps of P99 and some other, EQ emus like Shards of Dahlia is another one where they sort of change the name, even though it's an EverQuest game of sorts. They change the name. So one of the possibilities we talked about was we could have the community vote in or come up with some ideas for names, and then also one idea is to keep the name EQOA Revival, but change the acronym, actually apply a different meaning to the letters EQOA. And so maybe the community would possibly come up with, letters that work with that, or words that work with those letters. So our thought was what we would do is get the community to vote. So what I'll do is start a process of voting for everybody to chime in and say, hey, we would like it to be an acronym, or we would like it to be a fully different name. Everybody would get a chance to come up with names and throw it in a hat. Everybody would vote on those names, and then maybe we would pick the best names and then have everybody re-vote on those best names. Then, so that's kind of like stage one. So whatever the winning name is goes into another stage of get any artists who can make logos, take the winning name and turn it into logos, and then we all vote on that, and then that new logoed name would be our new name. Yeah, that's the basic idea. Does anybody have any ideas for a new name for EQOA Revival?
Oh, John, throw a name out right now. What do you think?
Oh gosh, I have no idea. Didn't somebody once suggest everyone, or was it everybody questing online again as a new acronym?
Yeah, that was me.
I threw out
pretty clever.
I threw out the name Project Ronks, I think.
Ronks, like Coachman Ronks.
Exactly. Everyone knew Ronks.
I like the idea of including, something revival. I don't know what the other part would be, but to keep a cohesion in the project,
I'm switching computers, so I may be out for a minute.
That's fine. All right. So we got a couple of shout-outs too. A couple of shout-outs here is to Cody from our Facebook page. He shares everything that I post, and I appreciate it in the LFG Facebook group. He takes it from there, he shares it in our Revival group and any of the other EQA group. He's quick on the draw. I want to say thank you to him. Another shout-out too is to Coachman Ronks for being there when I was lonely. Third shout out is to the EQA community for encouraging us to continue what we love doing and staying positive with an ongoing work ethic. Forgot to have that in there. Oh my. Anything else anyone wants to chime in for shout outs? Anything else anybody wants to talk about? I know John mentioned earlier about his his arcade and how that's going. Now, John, did you say you were taking pictures, or were you videotaping any of that?
I have been I haven't done anything with it really in a long time, other than when I talked to you about some of the computer stuff. But physically, there's nothing to see really right now, other than the pictures that I've posted. I'm hoping after the holidays to have some money again, where I can start throwing some money at it. But right now, I don't really have any big updates on it.
No updates for the time being. All right, so we're going to go into our third segment, which is our general discussion topics. And we have a couple that we're going to go over. One of the things I wanted to talk about, and I'm sure a lot of people, actually I'm going to link it right now in our chat. I'm sure everyone has already read this, but on Massively OP, we have an EQA revival project that's being spoken about here with the game archaeologist. So, John, have you already read this?
I have.
What's your feel on seeing something like this, or where we're being exposed now? What's your outlook on this?
I was actually kind of wondering what took so long, because I kind of checked back and forth with the game archaeologist postings just to see if anything's come up. Because with the project, it's not like we've been hiding it really at all for like the last couple of years, probably. I think it's a good thing. Maybe somebody sees it and wants to help. I think it can be a great thing, because I know that when we finally, back in the day, we were struggling trying to do anything with this project, and then we finally came public with it. Mm-hmm. And that really shot a bunch of life into the project, so I'm hoping that this can do the same thing.
Raam, when you read it, did you enjoy this?
So anyway, I was going to say I did. I'm glad that it's finally getting noticed, and I kind of have the same feelings as previously stated. I don't understand why it kind of took so long. But any kind of publicity for something like this is good publicity, because people can learn or read that it's happening somewhere. And all it takes is that one person to hear about it or see it who can be a great donor or asset to it. And then this is a good groundwork spot to boost the project and the arrival of the game in itself. So it was pretty awesome. I liked it a lot. I've read it a couple times now. I read it 2 or 3 times now.
Yeah, I'm hoping this is going to attract more programmers, so people from Project 99, maybe people who are helping bring SOCOM back to a working state. Just all these different groups of people who are working on games to bring them back. This is, like you said, good publicity, and it's something that they check out, or because some people, I've spoken to some people who are interested and never played the game, and they code, mm-hmm. and they're like, if I get some spare time, I'm pretty sure I want to jump into this and try and get this thing off the ground. Great article, great little piece to read. I encourage anyone to check that out. The more stuff you see like this, the more hope it gives. It gets the machine going, and it takes that one domino and things just start going. I love it. I love this stuff. Another general topic we're looking at is inventory size. Too big, too small, just right. John.
And are we talking bank space or just
well, this is one that I wanted to integrate this because it was something I think we sort of touched on before. We also spoke at the same time that we feel, I think everyone here agrees, that the space that we have to put in for our items for our bank is really too small. And we should be able to buy more bank space, just like in EverQuest. In the original EverQuest, you could purchase more bank spaces, and you could drop a bag in there, and then that would, times 8 or whatever size your bag was. So what do you feel about adding more bank space, or your inventory size? Because you know how you have to have sometimes it in your inventory, you know what I mean with the
right.
Yeah.
For one, I don't think the auction items should count towards bank space.
Yeah.
Although, I guess you have to have that slot saved so in case nobody buys it. I think definitely bank space I would increase if it were possible. Just because, I was a gear hoarder. It was I had to have, I see someone else said this, bank tunes. I had 3 bank tunes just to hold all the gear that I was hoarding. I'm going to start a new character, and I still have to hold on to all this stuff that I picked up.
Yeah.
Now, inventory space, while it would be great to have more of it, I also think that it's one of those things where it made you not having as much bank space made you have to think about what you were doing before you did it. So I think there's a certain game mechanic to that. Like you can't have, you can only bring 2 sets of, if you're a tank, you have to have 2 sets of gear, but you got to manage it well because you can't carry 3. Mm-hmm. So I think there's a little bit of thought that had to go into it, and I like that. I would increase bank space, but I don't know if I would increase personal inventory space.
All right, Raam, what do you feel about this?
I think bank space should be increased or maybe like compartmentalized if you can. Like you said, like save a spot for the stuff on auction for the bank, but make the auction stuff like once it goes up kind of to get figured out. That would be kind of nice. As far as the inventory goes, I don't mind the inventory being about as big as it is. I wish it was also done a little bit different. Things like ogre pills, MDs, potions, that kind of thing had their own like 10 slot limit, and then you had like your gear, and then you had like your miscellaneous key items, because that's kind of annoying too. Sometimes you might have like quest stuff in your inventory and it would affect what you can carry, but you had to keep this quest up because the quest was so long, something was happening. And so I wish you could have compartmentalized those things, like, hey, there's a this much limit on this, there's this much of a limit on this, and that way it kind of made things a bit more streamlined too. It probably would have made things a little bit easier. I think I didn't really have many bank tunes, actually. As far as anyone probably knew me on the game, I was pretty much broke all the time. So I didn't really have an issue. Like the only tune I ever had a bank for was for POD spells that we would hand out and stuff like that occasionally. But I never. I was always. I think I had like 4 million at my most rich point in time in the whole game.
That's still not that bad.
I think that's more than I ever earned in the entire game.
I think I was running around with like 280K or something like that usually. I think, like now items wise, I've had a lot of money that way, but that's it.
Man, you were a baller. What are you talking about?
Well, I guess there was a time that I had like a cup like 30 or so mil, but it really wasn't. I didn't keep it for very long because I ended up buying something anyway right away. So I had like scrounge everything together and like call in every favor I could. I think it was like for some bracers of annihilation or something like that. And so I just went broke after that. But like C Beepster had like 550 million at his prime. Like for me, upon leaving EQ and stuff like that, I want to say 8 immortal skin, like 3 LOP, like 3 or 4 Stormlord's touches that people didn't need when I'd ask, or because we were in POD so much. Like it was, I think I had a whole bank and almost an inventory full of just POD spells when I quit.
Jesus. I was gonna say, I think that I actually ended the game with probably around 30 million in the bank, but it was because I started farming prop shields out at what are they called, marionettes.
I was
theater, right?
What was that?
Otis? The theater in Otis?
Yeah, exactly.
Nice. I agree though with Raam about the quest items. That was annoying. That was really annoying, especially if you had a couple on the go and it's like you have to destroy something, right, to loot something else.
Yeah. It would be nice if quest items didn't count towards inventory space. Yeah. That's something that a lot of newer games do. Which is something that's required for a quest. It's, quest specific anyway. It like doesn't count towards your inventory space.
And then this actually goes into another subject where should there be separate the crafting spots? That's what I meant to go into. Should we have more crafting areas? So in Freeport we had that one near the bank, but I'm saying is that should we have more crafting places outside, like maybe something outside of a city, or maybe just a random crafting spot while you're running like in different zones? What do you guys think about that? I'll start with Raam.
I think personally, the more the better. And I think a lot of the reason for that is because like in the end of the game, Freeport, like I remember back in the day when like High Pass was where it was at.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. And then it kind of and then it migrated to like Freeport. And a lot of the reason for that is because everything was there, and so like everything you needed was there. So I think the more that stuff's kind of dispersed, the more you'll find people spread out throughout the game, which is kind of nice because it helps parts of the game stay less dead. It also makes people go look for each other rather than just try to spam up some shouts and see what they can get into. So I think it'd be cool if we had like maybe even a more like a banker or two more or something, or if we had if we had like some crafters, because there are some spots where, you know, there might not be a crafting place, there might not be a coachman, but there's a spirit master. So like, why is this even happening?
Yeah.
You know, or there might be like a crafting spot and a coachman, but no spirit master. It's something really weird. Like it's always kind of off shot, like with their NPCs. So it would kind of be nice to see like more connected stuff, or even like you said, like an oasis of crafting, like in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
That somebody can go to and not have to deal with those shouts or not be as bothered. So someone that wants to be alone can be alone, or maybe groups of people can go hang out there where the chat's less clouded.
Well, Sean C33 made a comment saying, I like the idea of rare crafting areas where epic stuff can be crafted. That'd be kind of cool.
That's kind of ESO-ish, actually.
Yeah.
Like when you're just running around, you find like random crafting areas, and the different crafting areas give you special different stats. Like they make different sets at different crafting areas.
What's your take on it, John?
I mean, most of the time I didn't need to craft anywhere. Like if I was going to craft, I was just already standing around in Freeport. So it would be nice though if you had a town, if just every town had a spot. I don't think there necessarily needs to be one in the middle of nowhere under a palm tree somewhere. I think every town, if there's like he said, if there's a spirit master there or a coach or whatever, there should be a crafting space.
It makes sense, really.
So what I meant by random spot, it wasn't necessarily like under a palm tree, but like there are places in the game that like are little towns that you can run to that aren't actually connected to anything in the game.
Yeah.
Like, they're really not.
Yeah.
Just a side town of like 2 or 3 buildings. I don't see why there wouldn't be a crafting spot there. Or like even like a place like where, depending on if you're aware or not, or just depending on what race you are, if you had faction with them or not, you could go there and could craft, rather than it having to be some neutral spot every single time. You know,
Right.
If you were an elf and you had faction with the Unkempt or something, then yeah, craft there.
So the last topic I have here is why does EQA's game mechanics feel better than EQ or EQ2? I played a lot of EQ PC. I played a bit of EQ2. I like the cartoonish feeling of EQ1 opposed to EQ2. EQ2 was okay, I just didn't have as much fun with it. Maybe it's because I played more EQ1, but I couldn't get into it as easy. EQ1, I remember first playing that game and I was on dial-up internet. You know, the music was magical logging in, and then obviously the graphics were very square-like. I enjoyed reading, having to read a lot, you know, hailing, having to use certain words to reply to quests to get a response. There was a few things with it that was special. Well, okay, first of all, we all know that EQ1 has like the biggest, and I'm pretty sure it's still one of the largest MMOs. There's so many expansions for EQ1. There's like what, 17? Am I sort of on cue? 17 sounds right?
So some ridiculous amount, yeah.
There's at least 12. There's got to be at least 12. The thing with EQ1 is that I don't know, depending on who played it and whatnot. Like I played another ranger, and I was a big fan of the what was it? The orcs. There was like an orc camp at the tower, and you would go there from like level 10 to 20. It was awesome. Okay, anyways, I'm sort of going on tangent, but it was fun to play it. Like, it was a lot to, you know, you've got the keyboard, mouse, WASD, spacebar jump, click, point, you know, go, use your abilities. For me, it wasn't fluid enough. I really enjoyed the feel of with EQOA. I remember when I first played it, it was like, man, I'm playing an MMO of Zelda 64. I'm like, how is not everyone playing this game? It's Ocarina of Time in an online fashion. There should be everyone should be freaking buying this. Thank you, Chauncey. EQ1 had 23 expansions. I think their newest one was something to do with lakes or boats or something like that. But, you know, with sitting there, now I never owned the Logitech keyboard that had the paddle on either end and then the keyboard in the middle. I never had that big brick, but I did buy just a simple Logitech USB keybone. Yes, the Crushbone Orcs, that's them. Thank you very much. That paddle was ace though. I've seen it, never used it. There's something magical with that Zelda feeling online, running around, seeing your friends, seeing the mob, everything being open, not having to really load too much except for zoning. But what about you, Raam, your feel?
Well, I'm a little out of my depth on this one because I never played EQ1 or EQ2. But I can tell from an EQ player who has played many other MMOs and looking at this one and, seeing it and us discussing it like this, I can tell you what I did like about it, even over MMOs I played today, which I liked the overall simplicity of it, because simplicity is powerful. I liked that. I liked how easy it was, how fluid it was, but what I like about this is the customization. Like those CMs 1500, no matter how much expensive some things were or weren't, or like you couldn't get your last battle hardened, def mod or not. The fact is that you had those. You play a lot of current MMOs today, and you really lose out on some of that. It's not the same, like the MMO I play currently, like Salon's talking about, like I'm on Final Fantasy 14 a lot. I stream that a lot too. For the most part, everything is relatively the same. They're really not a lot of individual customization you can do. With those 1500 CMs and 500 stat points, you could really create a character just about any way you wanted to. It was really, really hard to see two people that were cut the same. Like, I'm going to name drop a little here, but like Mono from PR. Good dude, good tank. Me, myself, like we had 1500 CMs. We both had the best gear in the game, but we were built different.
And it was obvious, awesome.
Right? Yeah, it was obvious. Like it's obvious we were built different. The racial abilities, all the way down to what gear we preferred, but then lastly to stat points and CMs even, He was able to tank Rattlezek just fine. I was able to tank it just fine. But when you look at our characters, we were broken down quite a bit different from each other, whether it was HP or a certain mod he had that I didn't, or hot CMs, or something like that. Like it was pretty awesome. And so like that's the one thing I miss, because it also helped you, in a way, it helped you be competitive too. Because it was kind of like anything you can do, I can do better, was the attitude. Because like I'm built different, but I could do the same thing. Yeah. And so everybody competed to see what they could do or how they could push their character to do it. And so like a long time ago, I had done like Neuroxus with like 5 or 6 tunes. I YouTubed one of them, but I did a smaller kill after. And like, because I was built a certain way, and like we'd kind of compete in that way to see where we were. And that's just something that's lost in a lot of today's MMOs. And it really kills me.
What about you, John?
Speaking real quickly about like customizing and like gear and stats and stuff, one thing I think is unique in EQOA that I haven't seen personally in other games, especially newer games, is that there was gear in EQOA that actually had negative stats on it.
Yes.
Like, which is so odd. Like you could have gloves that are like 20 whiz and negative 50 intelligence. So I just think that was a weird mechanic that I don't see in any games that I've played recently. But as far as like the feel of the game, I didn't play EQ PC and I didn't really play EQ2. Only like, after EQOA shut down and I was trying to get my fix. So I'm going to speak more from my experience with Vanguard and World of Warcraft.
Sure.
Vanguard is the closest thing that I've ever played to EQOA. The biggest drawback for me for that was keyboard and mouse. So the biggest thing for me with EQOA was playing with, because I'm a console gamer, so playing with a controller. And I probably could have set up a controller to play online Vanguard or World of Warcraft or something, but something about it just everything felt right on EQOA. Mm-hmm. It felt more organic the way you were moving and the way you interacted with the environment using a controller to me than keyboard and mouse.
All right, we've got Raam heading out now, so he's got to get to work. I tried squeezing him in for the whole show, but it's not going to happen. So, Raam, are you still with us to say goodbye?
Yeah, I'm with you guys still. Maybe next time, if we don't have the difficulties, I can probably hang around for the full thing if I'm on it next time, of course. But
yeah, for sure,
definitely. But before I go, if I may, you guys watching the stream and you guys in the Facebook group, you guys are pretty awesome. It's cool seeing everybody. It's good to stay in contact with some of my friends and guildmates I've known for like 6-10 plus years. All that kind of good stuff. So I'm glad to see you guys. I'm glad to see you guys on the Twitch too. I'm glad to see you guys into that. Thanks for everything you guys have done. But I'm out of here for now, everybody. So you guys have a great night. And hopefully I'll see you around for next time, whether in the audience or on the show.
All right. Well,
thanks, Raam.
Yeah, we appreciate you coming on. And I'm glad you joined in on our roundtable. It's been great to get to know you. And I hope to have you back on again as a co-host.
Absolutely. See you around, everybody.
Right. See you later.
Say bye to Raam there, chat. Say Onagiwahe, as they would say in Mohawk. See, I get to drop some Mohawk. What up? I do have someone actually who can pop in. Hold on. Who are we going to pull? We're pulling someone from the chat. Do 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 do. I need someone to cover. I need some cover music here. Da, 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 da. See if he's with us. This is the LFG portion. We need an extra member. Sam, are you there?
Hello?
Sam, welcome to the show.
Hey, brothers!
Oh, yeah, it's good to have you on now there. So, thanks for being on episode 4 of LFG. And if you want to just tell the chat who you are.
Hey guys, I'm assuming everybody can hear me all right. My name is Sam on the Facebook group. If you want me to give like a little background on my EQOA career?
Yeah, sure.
So I don't really remember exactly when I started, but the thing is, my dad actually brought the game home and said, "Oh, let's play this." And at the time, he didn't even know that we needed like the fat hard drive with the Ethernet connection on the back. So we got it and we're like, how do we play? How do we connect? So, I mean, it was our first MMO, and eventually we figured it out, got it all set up, and he made a character, and eventually I ended up hijacking his account after I started enjoying the game. And then my sister also played. So at one point we had like 3 PlayStations all with the game because we were all too, we didn't want to wait turns. So that's sort of the beginning of all of our EverQuest addiction. If anybody remembers Marsellus, I was on Castle Lightwolf. I was a necromancer. I had a whole slew of characters, but that was my main. And again, no, not Marsellus from Pulp Fiction, but that's a quick and dirty of my EQ start.
Yeah, nice. I appreciate you jumping in because we do have the quiz coming up, and if you weren't here, then John would win, and I just don't want to give John a win. There's got to be some sort of.
It would be the only way that I win.
Yeah, by default, just like any other sport, John is the winner.
Yeah.
Here's your first place ribbon, John. I just have a question for you, John.
Oh, boy.
I have a question for you, just like last time. I've got 2 questions for you, actually. If you had to name 2 body parts that you wouldn't mind Frostbite to claim, what would they be?
My 2, can it be the 2 of the same? It'd be pinky toes.
2 pinky toes? Actually, you would still have balance. That's so smart. I did not think of that. Kudos to you. What about you, Sam?
It's hard to top 2 pinky toes. I mean, I don't know. I'm going to piggyback John there. I don't know. Good question.
You could just say 2 pinky fingers.
2 pinky, yeah, sure, that's cool.
What about maybe middle toes? Like, do the middle ones affect balance that much?
No. Such a weird question.
It seems, I guess if you rotated on your foot, if you rotate to the outside, then your pinky toe is holding you up. But if you rotate to the inside, your big toe is holding you up. So maybe just the middle ones.
I'd probably go with my 2 earlobes.
Earlobe?
Yeah, I don't need them. I'm not going to be putting any earrings in. I'm going to be honest with you. Not an earring guy.
My eyelids, so I could always see my enemies, don't even blink.
You'd be scary.
Yeah, you would be very intimidating. We're ready to go. I just had to drop that question before we start because every episode I like to drop something completely random. Are we ready to queue up the Jeopardy game?
Yep, incoming.
Excellent. All right. So
we're ready to go.
So this is EverQuest Online Adventures Jeopardy. Almost lost my my dentures. And we have 3 different segments to this Jeopardy. Could you please show the good people, Jeremiah? Alright, so again, we have Name That Coachman, Name That Class by Spell, Geography, and I'm going to find a Canadian coin if I have one on hand. Actually, I don't have a Canadian coin, but I do have a piece of my old X-Wing, one of the X parts to it, the wing. That's what it's called, a wing. So I got red and black. Sam, pick a color.
We're going all on black.
All right. And the flip says red. John, you get to start.
Oh boy. Name that class by spell for 100.
Ooh. Name that class by spell for 100. And I'll get my main man Jeremiah to go ahead and click on that guy for me, please.
It looks like there's a bit of a delay.
Yep, that's no problem. This class uses the spell called Icy Explosion. Please do not look at the chat. Ignore the chat beside you when you are trying to answer this question.
Icy Explosion. I actually don't know. I'm going to guess wizard.
So, John, is that your final answer?
What is a wizard? I don't...
John's answer is, what is a wizard? Jeremiah, could you please show us the answer? You can feel it.
Oh. All right.
Does he get to guess?
No.
Does Sam get to guess?
No, this is just you, because if you get it wrong, then it's wrong, and then Sam will then take over.
Okay.
I'm gonna request that all questions directed toward me be voiced in the Bonesaw Randy Savage.
What is wizard is correct. So there is no Bonesaw coming out yet. So congratulations, John. You just won $100 Canadian.
Oh,
and,
so like 40 cents or something?
Yeah, so you're currently at 47 cents. So John has 100. Now, so what would your next question, would you like it to be?
Well, why don't we just go with the one that he's got up?
So you want to go with name that class by spell for 300?
Sure.
All right.
I know that one.
You're supposed to close your eyes after you answer it right, so you don't see the next question. All right. So we'll go with 300 for name that class by spell. And what I'm going to do here too. So this class uses the spell called Pillar of Might.
What is a warrior?
What is a warrior? And that is your final answer.
I'm going to go with yes.
Jeremiah, is he correct?
Am I correct? I think I am, because pillar was one of the paths, right? One of the class paths. Pillar or bellow.
You are correct. You were just wanting more money. You're really good at this game. You didn't even know it. You are a swindler, sir. You said that you were not going to do well at this game, and you gave Sam a boost of 100% confidence.
You gotta get him high so you can knock him low.
Would you like to finish that whole row off for 500?
Yeah, let's go ahead and just do that. Might as well.
All right. So, John chooses name that class by spell for 500.
For 500. Please, Alex.
Also known as Jeremiah. Alright, it's coming up. Only for you. So, this class uses the spell called Sorrow Strike. This class uses the spell called Sorrow Strike. Please.
I'm gonna go. I actually don't know this one, but I'm gonna go with Shadow. What is a Shadow Knight?
John, is that your final answer?
Yes.
Jeremiah, please show John what the answer is.
Did you just become what's his name? Like Captain Kirk?
Yes.
William Shatner.
Shatner is also Canadian. But yes, the answer is correct. What is a Shadow Knight? Dang. I think the next question is going to get you. One of these have got to get you. Or do you want to move to?
I'll go with one that I'm pretty sure will get me. So, we'll go with name that coachman for 100.
All right. Name that coachman for 100,
I'm
please.
not good with coachman.
Jeremiah. And as everyone knows, we are not allowed to Google anything. We are not allowed to look at the chat. And I'm sure everyone's following the rules, right, John?
I'm trying not to look at chat.
Okay. This coachman is found where the village is suspended by trees.
Well, that would be Tethlin, but I do not know the coachman's name. I guarantee you that.
All right, Jeremiah, could you please show John the answer?
I am not good with coachmen, except for Ronks and Dudley.
And the answer is... Here it comes. Anticipation. Coachman Zaris. But you got the place right. But you got the coachman wrong. All right, Sam, how you feeling? You feeling confident? You think you're going to clean up?
I don't know. I would have gone for name that class spell too. I'm bad with the coachman names.
Well, what would you like to? What do you want to move to? Geography?
Sure.
All right.
Let's do geography for 100.
Jeremiah, please Geography for 100. The low-level freeze-blood goblins are found closest to which starting city?
Oh, baby. It's gotta be... Or where is Halas?
The question with the answer is, what is Hallas? Is that correct, Jeremiah? Here it comes. What is Hallas? That is correct. Sam, you are on the board.
Yay.
You're on the board. You've got 100. And what do we got here? John has 900. So we need to start cleaning up. So would you like geography maybe for 300 this time?
Yes, sir, Mr. Trebek.
Jeremiah, please click on geography for 300 for our good man here, Sam. Geography. Excellent. Which starting city has the bridge that never completely opens? So, think of starting cities where you run around and this bridge does not completely open.
I know it.
Shush, John. Shush. This is a game show. I will have you kicked off. Security.
John, you can send me a whisper in game. God, I really don't know.
All right.
A bridge that never completely opened. I don't know.
Jeremiah, please show Sam what the answer is. I can just tell you the answer too. The correct answer is what is Click-Cannon.
Oh yeah. Oh.
That's right. You get the little gnome or whoever. Actually, it doesn't matter which class you choose. But yes, it's Click-Cannon. You got to run over it, and there's that gap in the middle. And sometimes you fall, and you have to zoom out and run across it. And if you had you fly. You fly right over it.
You could jump it if you had right?
Yep.
That's what it was. Yeah.
So, John, you get to step in now for a DDT, a Diamond Dallas Page DDT. What would you like to choose?
Let's go with geography for 500.
All right, Jeremiah. Geography for 500 Canadian dollars, please.
Loading.
What's our trap? Oh, I forgot to use
Everyone be really quiet, and we can edit this out in post.
The Mine Guild 231 is from where?
Mine Guild 231. Well, since it's a mine, I'm going to go ahead and guess what is Moradin.
So his answer is, what is Moradin? Jeremiah, is that correct? Please show the man, John, the answer. Here it comes, the anticipation. And the answer is Moradin. He just scored another 500. I think at this point it's impossible for Sam to catch up, but we shall continue. John, would you like to name that coachman for 300 or 500?
Let's go all the way with 500.
All right. Jeremiah, please click on name that coachman for 500. Okay, 300.
Whichever.
Yeah. This coachman is found in a place where barbarian women are just as muscular as men.
So I'm going to assume we're just talking about Hallas and say Coachman Dudley.
Coachman Dudley. So, who is Dudley? Is that your answer?
Who is Coachman Dudley?
All right. Jeremiah, is that answer correct? Or is there somehow some other type of coachman in this place where women are more muscular than men? Coachman Dudley, the stud from Hallas. That is correct.
I had to think about whether or not Anu Village had a coachman for a second.
All right, so by default, John, you're going now for 500 for name that coachman.
I'm gonna have no idea.
Are you sweating?
I mean, I've pretty much got this locked in, so...
This is true. This coachman is found in a place where the women can grow very long beards.
So Sam can't steal?
Sam is at a contention.
I don't know his name, but I feel like this was the name of a coachman, I think. Is there a coachman? Who is Coachman Rizak? Like, is it R-I-Z-A-K? I don't know if that's a real coachman or not. But that's what I'm going to say. So,
your answer is, who is Coachman Rizak? So, he says Coachman Rizak. Jeremiah, please show him the answer. Coachman Doba from Moradin. The dwarves, man. The women grow beards just as long as the dudes. Oh.
I knew it was Moradin, but I had no idea what the coachman's name was.
Well, you still won. You lost 500 there, but it didn't dent you too bad. You still, came up strong. So I'd like to thank both of our contestants, Sam and John. Please shake hands.
Shake.
Perfect. I appreciate your
absolutely.
sportsmanship. Very much
I
appreciate it.
slapped your hand away from my hand.
I spat on my hand before I shook it. So yeah, thanks guys. Thanks for playing that. It's much appreciated. So that's this segment of EverQuest Online Adventures Jeopardy. So now we're moving into a poster giveaway, and we've got a bunch of people who are listening in who actually just sent me an email not too long ago saying, "Hey, I want that poster. Hook a brother up." And I'm picking this from random. I don't know. Actually, no, that's not going to happen. I can't go on camera right now. It's too late for that. I do have that technology, but it's not going to happen. So I have... no, I'm not giving away 5 posters. Come on, man. My Canadian dollars. We've already had this discussion. So I have...
If anything, it's 1/5 of a poster.
Yeah, I had to break it down so shipping would be less expensive. But I have everyone's name from prior, so when everyone entered before, and then from people today. So everyone's in here. John is in here. Sam is in here. Jeremiah cannot be in this because, well, he is my left-hand man. And he's just going to have to message me and pay me money for one. All right. I believe Randall is in this. Randall, you are in this contest. So, can I get a drum roll, Sam? You sound like a cat. All right. So, here we go. We got one. Oops. So this is the person from last time. I actually got to take this out.
No way.
As if, yeah.
He just went twice.
What are the odds?
Yeah. Okay. So another drum roll, please. All right. Everyone hear it? Okay. Do 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 do. Oh, as if. So the winner is EQOA Nostalgia.
Woo!
Oh, that's funny. All right, congratulations, buddy. You won our official LFG poster. Ah, good time. So, if I can get Mr. EQOA to send us an email at EQOA@lfg@gmail.com, you can give me your address, and I will send this to you as soon as possible. Maybe I'll keep the other names that I do have. Possibly we'll do another giveaway next month. Maybe it'll be another poster. Maybe it's going to be a cool pillow that has all the zones on it. That would be pretty BA. We were talking, we want people to send in some neat art or a cool story. So if you have a cool EQA story and you send that in, you will get a bonus entry into the next contest. Bonus. And yes, it's a trap. We have our 5th segment before we disband, but we don't really disband because I think we have something at the end to show off. Am I right? Am I brain farting? Yes. Or there isn't?
That is correct.
Oh no, it's going to be forwarded to next year, December? Is that it? Hold on. Okay, sorry, I got it wrong. Oh, I didn't want to scare anyone. Yeah. So we got a couple things that we wanted to discuss. So comments and a few emails. I'll read off the first 3 comments, John, if you want to take after those 3. One comment's from Andrew. I'm not going to say the last name. Says, love following the progress of this. I hope we someday see something again so we can have many hours in Norath. We have Sky. I wish you guys were able to do this show more often, but at least they're nice and lengthy. Thank you very much, Sky. And Mr. Quackers, which I can say completely. How do you not lag on that PS emulator? Whenever I use it, it always lags. Yes, I think I was speaking with Mr. Quackers, but let us know what your specs are. And you do have to modify your emulator sometimes a bit so it runs a bit smoother. Or more smooth, because smooth is not a word. Jeepers creepers. John, want to read another couple of comments?
Sure. Let's see. We got who's it? Yummy Dane says, "Thank you for all the time and effort you put into these videos. I'd love to join you sometime." Well, I'm sure we would love to have more people come on.
That sounds yummy.
It's always yummy. It's always fun to have new people on here. I especially enjoyed having Raam on today.
Yeah, but don't play Jeopardy with John. Just so everyone.
Yeah, he keeps telling people, "Oh, I suck," and then he just cleans up.
And we have Felix says, "May Iralisi Mar bless the stable boy and Jimmy the Snitch."
Can we have a moment of silence, please, for Jimmy the Snitch?
Jimmy the Snitch.
Thank you. All right, another one.
Then we have Darmath, Deerenhold here, Barbarian Defender for the Exiled. Maybe we have someone from the Exiled in here. And he says, "GD, do I miss EQOA?" Keeping it PG for us here.
Yeah. So grief darn, he misses it.
Gosh darn it. I do miss EQOA.
Big time. We got Daijin saying Hodstock, his character's name is unique. Daijin, one of the two, yep. Redneck says, that's a good name. "Thanks for the content, guys. Brings me back to the good old days." We got Platinum Drop. He says, Platinum... Oh, no, sorry. He says, it's Pot Choke. My bad. Pot Choke says, "Platinum Drop was the man. This is subliminal, and we ran many of the days all night long. All night. One of the most patient people I've ever met. All night long. All night." Sorry.
Wow.
And then we have Nick Batiste. I think he set me up. His character was Spitz Exodus on Fair and Hope. I had more fun in this game than any other game. I miss it so much. John, you want to start with Keywork?
Keywork. Can you guys please hurry up? I really want to revisit EQOA. I also want to do that.
Yeah, we all.
And if I could hurry them up, I totally would. So we have D. Roll Tide. "Flying would suck. Takes away from the adventure." And I totally agree with that.
Yeah. We had that discussion. That was from episode 3, by the way. So
yeah. And so to go along with that one, the next one is I don't know if it's Aaron or Eron TR. I think he's actually in the chat right now.
he is. Hey, what's up, Eron?
Absolutely no mounts of any kind. I can agree with that. I don't think EQOA really needed mounts.
No. So was fine.
Plus, there was no way to really do it anyway. So,
Sam, do you see any of these comments?
On the Twitch chat, or is it somewhere else?
Oh, okay, sorry. We have a document. I thought I might have shared it with you. I don't think I did. I apologize. This is totally my fault. I look like an idiot. It's not me. It's not. I'm sorry. It's not you. It's me. And we're just gonna have to break up. No, so the next comment from Sam Can Play Music. Man, going back to reconstruct this game, you really realize how much creativity and time was spent into this game. They really look their time and push the creative boundary. I think the team at SOE that put this game together should be very proud. And I agree. This game I still find ages well. Then we have Conquer. Day 1 EQA player. Vordox, Erudite Mage, Pyromancer, Mars Fist, Server, Guild's Fate, Knights Templar. Loved this game. Loved it, he said. This one I'm going to need my glasses. This is actually, no. Didn't see it. We got Rocket Girl. I want to go back. Whatever Rocket Girl says goes. Got K Lang, 60 Druid, LFG. K Lang, hope you are in on this episode. If not, how you doing? Got Mike McCracken, Fair and Hope, 60 Warrior, Druid, LFG Beast, BEASST. John, you want to take Lando?
I scrolled way down, so I don't know where you are now. I was kind of
Lando Hitman.
Oh, that's him. Lando Hitman. I love these videos. They fill me with nostalgia and hope. I guess that's what we aim for.
Yeah,
right?
This is the point of the show. We want to keep people engaged. We want to keep people entertained, and we want to reach out to somehow even contact people who know nothing about the game and may have gifts with coding or gifts and other ways of helping bring this game back.
We gonna read all these? Can I skip? Can I skip down one?
Sure.
All right, I'm gonna skip down to Robert. It says, does anybody remember those overpowered ebony recluse spiders? I remember running them to Minotaur camp and went over a hill only to figure out I was being poisoned by an ebony recluse with super so on my ass. Yes, I do remember ebony recluse, and you need to stay the heck away from those things. Couldn't enchanters enchant those things for a while? And they would like take them like farming?
I don't know, Sam, do you remember that?
I think that they were originally enchantable.
I can't
Charming.
remember. It's sad, I can't remember. I'm sorry, I'm letting you down. You're my boy Blue, but I'm letting you down. I'm gonna go a little further down the list too. We had Angel P. Angel was an email we read out last episode with the clap, I believe, if that rings a bell. She says, "Oh man, my email was featured. It was gives you the clap, the name of my silly character. Boy, do I have too many fricka stories from my time on PPO. It truly became a terrible server for me around 2007. Thank you, Angel P. Thank you for your email. Thank you for your comment. Please send us another story. We find it very entertaining, and more the merrier." You want to go a few down from there, John?
I'm running way down to GanonMan22. Says, God, I missed this game and would love to see it again. Played a 60 Wood Elf Ranger named Ganondorf on PPO. Also had a Dwarf Warrior named Darvin. I hope you guys succeed. I missed the Queen Bee by the Wood Elf starting zone. Loved the Beehive. I think a lot of people loved that place.
Yeah.
I actually didn't see it until later in the game because I didn't travel to Tethlin for a very long time.
It was a classic. Now, I'm going to read one last one, comment-wise, from Josh. That might be his last name, so I won't say his last name, but it is in the comments, so whatever. Josh Palin shouldn't really even consider adding anything to the game, such as add-ons, etc. I'm sure everyone respects the game exactly how it is and love exactly how it was. But you guys are the ones that making and can do whatever you want, and I appreciate everything that you guys do. EQA was also the best game because it is not being as easy as WoW or any other game. You actually had to try to work towards something. So true. You needed a group. Everyone had a purpose with their class, and you took advantage of your abilities. So, have played WoW for years and years. Having add-ons, etc. just ruins everything. There's already so much that is going to be done. Trying to even get the game back, I don't see the idea of adding anything coming in. Boone was even a letdown. Let's grind. Thank you for the comment. We do have one email sent to us from Christopher Allen. Do any of you guys remember Christopher Allen?
Like Christopher Robin?
Kind of. Christopher Allen was on our last episode. He was one of the co-hosts.
Yeah, it looks like he is Platinum Drop.
Correct.
Right?
He is Platinum Drop. Sam, do you remember what my awkward nickname was for Mr. Allen?
Oh, it was Money.
Yeah.
Money.
Chris Money, and then I felt very awkward calling him that, and then I nipped that in the butt immediately. So, Chris really wanted to be in this episode, but he said if he can't be in it, then he's going to send something. This is what Chris says. Hey, it's Platinum Drop 60 Human Defender from CLW. I remember this story about week 6 or so after the game came out. Myself, I was level 25 warrior. My friend Monkey Man was around the same level, and he was a monk. We had traveled to Dyron Hold to explore that area and see what land had to offer. We noticed that the White Snow land had been barren, as there was very little to kill to gain experience. Monkey and I had decided we were going to XP on the guards at Dyron Hold. We knew this would we knew this would forever ruin our reputation with the small city in the snow, and it did later on down the line for our quest chains. We began to pull guards after guard, destroying and pillaging the small town of Dyron Hold. Monkey had given me a pair of red boots that he had found. Colored armor was a status symbol in those times, as everyone was wearing cloth or padded armor. I thanked my friend for his gift and wore the clothed boots with pride. So he says here, out of nowhere, from the heavens, a game master by the name of Zatsuya appears. And he's got some monologue here. Or dialogue, sorry. Or wait, am I saying the right word? Either way. So he says, Zatsuya says, Why must you kill the guards? Monkey says, oh my god, are you a GM? We are trying to XP. Zazie replies, Platt, I love your red boots. Monkey says, those are my red boots. I gave them to him. Give me them back. Platt says, fine, Monkey, you can have them back. Monkey equips his boots. Monkey says, can you spawn a dragon or something? Did you see my boots? Zazie says, your boots are lovely, Monkey. Monkey replies, can you give me an all robe? Zazie says, not today, Grasshopper. Monkey liked to talk a lot. Platinum says that.
Children.
Do you know of any places where we can go to level up? Zazie replies, yeah, there's a goblin camp right across the river. Monkey says, well, they probably don't have red boots. Zazie says, you guys do know that you ruined your faction here. Platt replied, we'll probably never come back here. Zazie said, well, good luck, boys. Monkey says, but my boots! 2 years pass. Platinum says, yeah, Monkey, I can't turn in my epic quest now from the time we killed those guards. Want to go farm goblins? Nice story. Thanks, Chris.
Nice.
I enjoyed that.
Nice,
Maybe next
nice.
time we'll have Chris on, and then we'll do like we'll pick people that we're speaking for. Almost do like a Shakespeare. Oh, Zazie! Oh, dear Zazie! Why did we plunder? What art thou kill? Okay, I'm done. Sorry.
Chris.
So we're going into what is this? A bonus segment? Is this
Bonus.
Oh, whoa! What are we going into?
Randall and I have been working on this project. Actually, this is Randall's software that I've been getting to put something to, and I'll let him explain what it is, and then we will show you a cool video. Randall, give him a generic description, and then we will play the video.
Yeah, in a nutshell.
Well, you've probably heard me talk about it before. It's the NPC maker. You go stand somewhere in the game, you press a button or a click or something like that, and an NPC is created.
Love
Oh.
this.
So basic.
I mean, hey,
Good job.
said it in a nutshell, right?
Yeah.
Here's the teaser, guys. We'll explain it.
This is the first time for me to watch too, guys. This is exciting.
Oh, and while he's doing that, I'll go ahead and chime in. He might not have had his equipment set up fine or whatever. I've been spending the whole episode programming a version of this that I thought I was going to have him like 6 hours ago. So, I'm behind too.
You've done great, Randall.
It's almost done though.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a software Randall's created. Has allowed us to place NPCs in the world. We've placed 2,000 in the world.
Look at all that work you put in. 2,000 NPCs.
You'll notice that they're humans here in Hallas, and that's because the NPCs are borrowing, they're called ghosts, they're borrowing the models from Freeport. This is sort of a beginning stage
Barbarians.
of NPC content.
There's my daughter.
I'll say more in a minute. Go ahead, Randall. Tell them more.
Well, yeah, I've been working on the program to place the NPCs. Right now, I don't have any method, like I said, yet right now, to change the graphics of them. As you guys saw, Dustin might have been doing something about that. And then where I was talking about like the armor and CMs, you know, it'd be cool to implement that here with the NPCs that you're seeing. That stuff might be a little different. That's more future though, but you know, after this, the version of the software I was talking about working on just a minute ago is, well, the version that I want to release for you guys to play. It's going to make it really simple to open this up, go run around, see his 2,000 NPCs. I don't know if there's anything more I was supposed to say. I forgot. That the programming kind of got me sidetracked there. Sorry.
No, that's okay. So basically, as I said, this is the beginning stage of placing the NPCs. Later, we're going to add dialogue and quests and things. The fact that NPCs are standing in a save state is sort of a side effect of what the real plan here is, which is that we're creating data to go into a database for a final server. What this means is that this is sort of a platform for us to be able to work on that content even before the server is ready. So it's sort of getting a jump on it. It's not really necessarily an intention to make some sort of offline game. It just has the side effect of that content being visible and accessible. At the moment, you'll see here in the video that I'm just walking around the world targeting, and that's, at the moment, that's the extent of the interaction. You are able to go home to whatever your home city you were and probably see most of your NPCs. Obviously, this is not all of the NPCs. There's still some missing in the world. In this first pass-through of the world, all I used was mostly the Elutra channel content, and then also some of Sarahwin, otherwise Lady Sarah. She had the other good channel full of NPC content.
Yeah, to go along with what he was saying, and to address something about the save state stuff, the NPCs themselves, that data is intended to move on to a server. If any single player mode were to come about and you could level up or any of that, none of that I don't think will ever transfer to any server for a lot of different reasons. Mostly, I guess for security reasons. We can't prevent and hack, I guess. That, and we all want to start off on a fresh playing field, I think. This could be like a beta thing, just think about it like that. And right now what you are seeing, I believe, is a video that he put together, just walking around the world. Of course, that doesn't mean he can't just go up and do it live right now. Creating the NPC process is really simple for anybody who wants to do that, but my software has an interface that doesn't have any of those complicated buttons for you, and that's going to make it, just like a button click or two to get into the game.
This
people watch if they want.
This task here that Randall did with his program, and then what Jeremiah did too with Randall's program, this has taken a lot of hours. Randall, do you have any idea how long it's taken you to really perfect Kieran? Am I saying it right? Which way is it again?
I always say Kieran.
I'm going with Kieran then.
I could be wrong though. I mean, I guess I thought of it more text before I did verbally. It's kind of hard to say. I really don't know. I've spent a lot of time on it. I've probably spent more time on it than I have at my jobs in the past year.
At least you're honest. Now, is there a backstory to the name Kieran? Like, was there an ex you had that she was a beautiful woman, or is it just something that you're like, I'm just going to name it that?
Yeah, I kind of just needed, like, a name for the program itself, because it had originally evolved in code anyway. I kind of took, I think it took 2 different programs that I was making, and I took one program that I originally made the first NPC in, and that didn't have a user interface, and I took a different program and combined them, and so it just had some name that didn't really apply to it, or some weird name. Some like complicated techie name, and I just wanted a cool kind of name for it. I guess to me, Kieran sounded like it could have been maybe a character name from the game or something. Yep. There might be a little more to that. If so, you guys might find out later. I guess that is a little secret. Yeah, it was. I just needed a name though. There are inspirations behind it, and yeah, I guess you guys might see more on that later if my plans can come to light. Now those plans are kind of secondary plans, so it's kind of why I wasn't necessarily going to mention anything about them, because my first task is getting the game itself playable, getting I guess the save state playable all on its own it is just a fun project on the side.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, I had a question for you, Jeremiah. Since you've used this polished piece of software that Randall has created, how many hours did it take you to drop all these different NPCs?
Between 30 and 50.
30 and 50 hours.
Yeah.
And you've been working on and off too for a while.
Last six weeks.
Last 6 weeks, yeah. Now, and as you mentioned earlier, in case anyone missed it, this is important for future development. All these NPCs that you guys dropped, they're going to be replaced obviously with the proper one, but they're put in the exact right spot. These are where these NPCs are going to be. So
like a part of that is the NPC, yeah.
Yeah, so this is like wonderful what you've done. Now this isn't like code breaking, so it's like, okay, we're gonna have a server up next week, but this is something someone had to do, and there's a lot of grunt work essentially to this, because you got to look up every single zone, every single person, X, Y, where they're located, get the name right. So I clap, for both. Oh, come on, John, can we do like an online clap for both of them?
It's gonna start like a slow clap.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah, that's it. That's the spot.
There it is.
Yeah. You guys definitely deserve a clap for this. It's fun. It's great. I'm glad you guys did this, and your work should be seen and praised for what you've done.
So
Very kind.
I want to ask: is there a way that I, like me as just a person, can go in and see and interact in this world with the NPCs?
My very next topic.
There we go.
So for only $2.99 a
I don't
month.
even know.
So actually, the second part of this whole surprise is that what we've done is attempted to set up a Facebook page that's not released yet, but how about after this video, Randall and I are going to chat a little bit. We're going to release this Facebook page, release this video on YouTube, and the Facebook page will have all of the instructions and parts and pieces that you need to get this going. If you've already set up the save state, this is going to be a walk in the park to set up. If you haven't set up the save state, then it's going to be a little more complicated. Really, that first step of getting the save state set up and you running around the world initially is the hardest part. Chiron it basically is a piece of software that runs alongside Cheat Engine and the emulator. Basically, Chiron just modifies what the experience on the save state is doing. So it's not difficult once you've got the save state up. But we will release all the information soon. So there's going to be two parts. Basically, this first Facebook page is just a player version. It's just for people to see the content, to run through the world and see it. And then there will be an invitation happening soon, let's say if in a few days or possibly after Christmas, depending on how busy this week is, but of people who want to help actually build content, add things on. Obviously, this is probably the majority of the NPCs that are in the world, but there's lots of little bits and pieces. I haven't tapped any guidebooks or other YouTube channels that other than mine and Sarahwin's channel. We'll definitely look for help if anybody wants to help with it.
Great. So
Now, is this something where you would also want people going in and adding mobs, like let's say TFGs, adding mobs to camps, at least location wise?
So far, this is just NPCs that are in towns. They're not humanoid mobs or mobs otherwise. This will translate to mobs later, but we haven't. I think that's going to take a little bit of a different process, potentially, to lay down the mobs and figure out how they spread about. Obviously, we know where bosses are and things like that, but for all of the common mobs, there might be a little bit of a different process. This was just to get those main NPCs, city NPCs, and there's villagers. So basically, there are 33 locations on the map, all vanilla locations. We haven't gone outside of the main continent of Tenaria. But notice that there aren't any pets. There's not any pests like rats running around, anything like that. There's no mobs so far. It's just the basic NPCs. Did that answer your question?
Yes, absolutely.
Now to go into a little more detail, though, the code base itself that's there pretty much can go ahead. If you wanted to go make camps or random mobs, if you had this downloaded on your own computer, you could go ahead and do that. The code base I've done most of what I think I need to do to make it spawn camps properly. So if you wanted to go set up TFGs or something, I'm working toward having that set up too. We were focusing on having the NPC placement right though, especially since it's just some of the complication comes in with, when you kill something, what spawns after it. I don't really have all of that code worked out. But that's, really all it would take to have support for camps or support for random mobs. And then, once we do have the camps, the support for that stuff, there's another technical question that comes into play on, if we go and make a TFG camp, how sure can we be that the TFGs that you made, the NPCs, the mobs that you made, that they're accurate compared to what was in the game? Where there isn't footage for that, then we're going to have to, basically just have our content judgment shoes on and, figure out what we're going to do with the undocumented portions of the camps, the undocumented random mobs that were just not in really anything and weren't really a big part of the game. Not a big important difference depending on what we change, I mean. NPCs themselves, though, most of them were pretty important. They served a role. You could see what they did. It depends on... I mean, there are some, I guess, technicalities to that whole side. In the future, in code-wise, like in the save state, you might see NPCs and camps represented before too long. Also, not NPCs, but I meant mobs. NPCs are clearly already there.
Yeah, that brings up another topic of, for example, everything in this video that you're seeing and everything that's in the Chiron program is mostly stationary NPCs. So we had visual documentation, we had evidence that that's actually what was. Nobody's really created, with some very, very minor exemptions. All of these NPCs are exactly where they're supposed to be. Now, what we are going to have to do is develop some sort of structure of, hey, some of this content has to be made up, because we just don't have any documentation whatsoever. So we have to sort of figure out who's the creative angle on that, who can make that happen. Maybe is it a group of people, or yeah. And that's the end of the video.
To address some of the questions I'm seeing there, the program edits the save state that you load up live. It doesn't actually save anything to the save state. So in that sense, what would you guys say? Yeah, if you made bandits, kappas, and everything else, those don't matter what save state you're on. They can all load up and all be, in the same, save state worldly thing, however you guys kind of understand it to work.
One last point I wanted to make was Randall and we worked on this, and it's something that we can show you. It's work we've put into it, and it sort of has this instant, we're able to show you something pretty on the spot. And I just wanted to say a word for all of the server guys who are working on code, like mind-numbing numbers and code that they're working on in their spare time that would bore the rest of us to tears, but they don't have anything yet to show us because the code is so intricate. But it's like an inception inside of an inception. They're down there working with teeny tiny little numbers, but each time that they work on it, they're pulling something out, and eventually you're going to see this massive cool thing. And they are making progress, but it's really, really hard to demonstrate. And I just wanted to give my clap to them for all of their hard work, and we're doing this, to merge with them at some point, whenever that happens. That's all.
Mm-hmm. So, any last words? I think that pretty much sums everything up.
No, I think that sums everything up. I don't know, maybe we could see if anybody in the Twitch chat has any Q&A or anything like that they might want to ask, maybe?
If not, you could also send an email to us. Again, another email drop, eqoalfg@gmail.com, eqoalfg@gmail.com. If you guys do have any questions, that email will be read by myself or Jeremiah. And if it is directed to anyone else, such as a co-host, or someone that was on the show, or even Randall, or something you'd even like to ask Dustin or any other person that's a part of the group, we accept all questions. And if it's a funny question, I'll probably still even ask them funny questions within reason. I don't want a question saying, what is Randall's waist size? No, that's not a good question. But aside from that, let's see here. I think the plan to make good, they want to talk to Jeremiah. So yeah, like I said, just send us an email if you have any more questions, and the guys will make a post about where you can obtain this, and just enjoy this wonderful save state with all this added NPCs. This is the very end of this episode, guys. It took a couple of hours to pump out, but it is lengthy, as one YouTuber commented saying, we don't have a lot of shows, but they are lengthy. And I told Raam that, hey, then this show's going to be done in an hour and a half. You'll have tons of time. Don't worry about it.
And we started an hour late.
Yeah. And
then we went even longer.
Sorry, Raam. Next time we'll do our best to see if we can get you in from beginning to end. And I want to thank Sam. I kind of just sprung it on him last minute saying, can you come on now? and he was available for me. I gave him a heads up. But Sam, you still there?
Yes, sir.
Cool. Yeah, thanks big time. I appreciate it, bud.
Yeah, thank you guys. I mean, just a huge thanks to everyone in the community, everybody who's supporting all the work going into this effort and these projects, right? This is it's really cool to be here and talk to you guys about this. So thanks for the opportunity, and look forward to chatting with you again later.
I would like to call out EQOA Nostalgia because I want to get him on the show. We need to have him on here, and we'll try. I don't know if we'll be able to keep things PG. We might have to raise our rating bar for that episode. Because I don't know if anyone's ever seen his YouTube channel. It's really good. He gets very passionate sometimes with his rants, and you got to respect people with passion, because that means they like what they're doing. And Bo, we had Bo on episode 2, was it? Yes? Can one back me up? Was that episode 1 or episode 2?
Yeah, that was right.
Episode 2. So yeah, I'd love for Bo to come back on. Bo's awesome. Bo is a lot of fun to talk with. If you don't know what we're talking about, go back, listen to episode 2. This, like I said, this is our 4th episode. Hopefully our 5th episode won't take 9.5 months. We'll have maybe a nice lengthy episode a month or so. So I'd like to thank again John for coming back on the show.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah, and I remembered, I think it was from the first show, you said I gotta be on the Halas episode.
Yep, absolutely.
So I try to listen when people talk to me, even though my wife gives me crap all the time saying I don't listen to her enough, and I have selective hearing. I think that just happens with any relationship, but we're not here to talk about that now, are we? Jeremiah, anything else you'd like to share?
We'll be releasing some info on the EQOA Facebook soon about the Chiron project, and then also anybody in Twitch that isn't already in the Facebook LFG group, come join us. That's it. Have a good night.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, guys, and thanks again to Randall for joining in every segment and giving us his update with all his programming. Thank you, Randall.
Thank you.
All right, guys, so we're saying goodbye for episode 4. And what was the name of this episode, Jeremiah?
It's so cold, you'll freeze your... ...
All right, guys. So everyone have a great night. Thanks for coming out with us. Thanks for listening. Take care now. Bye.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, brother.
Welcome to the LFG podcast from the EQOA Renaissance channel.